Welcome to the Jones Zone, a podcast by Darryl and Jones.
Hope you enjoy this episode. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for similar content. We have videos explaining escrow, title insurance, how to get top dollar for your house, mistakes sellers make all the time, how to evict a bad tenant, and so much more.
I mean, honestly, we've got just about every type of cuisine. I've had people moving here that are looking for Nicaraguan food or like Ethiopian or very specific different types of food.
Do you have newer homes there? A lot of newer homes?
Yeah, we do. Let's talk pricing. So our average price point for the whole Twin Cities is like upper fours, 465, 470. It's our medium price point. If you want newer, you can get to that level kind of in the 500 range, kind of entry level production build, new construction. To your question with new, you can definitely find new construction, but you're just gonna have to look a little bit further out in the suburbs. No, honestly, the number one surprise it seems like people have.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Jones Zone. Today, we're going to talk to Joe Carmack. What a great name, Joe. It's a good name for a real estate agent. He's from Minnesota. So how long have you been selling real estate in Minnesota? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. A husband and wife team up here in the Twin Cities area. We've been doing it for about 10 years now. Got started back in 2016, so just had our 10th anniversary.
Awesome. So it's going well.
Yeah, it's been good. Lots of ups and downs, lots of turbulent times through there, but it's been a great 10 years.
Yeah, well, real estate will do that to you, that's for sure. And you're only 19 years old, right? I'm kidding.
I
wish.
Hey,
I'm going to do, so I do a series about Californians who are considering moving out of state, which a lot of them are. And obviously with Minnesota being a different state, and I'm guessing you get a lot more for your money, which is oftentimes the reason. I have agents or clients from different states. So let's talk about Minnesota real estate. For someone moving from California to Minnesota, what's the very first thing they usually underestimate about the move?
No, honestly, the number one surprise it seems like people have is how green it is here. Which, I mean, I've been here for almost 20 years now, so it doesn't even surprise me. But it's so sandy and dry out there. You guys have droughts and all this, apparently. It's just green, it's lush, and everybody loves how much nature there is in their neighborhoods and all around the whole state.
It's not all frozen tundra all around.
No. I mean, I think the way that, TV shows and movies over the years always portray Minnesota, it's only ever during the winter months. It's only ever the blizzards they show. It's only ever how terrible it is. But we're called the land of 10,000 lakes. I mean, there's a very good reason for that. There's lakes everywhere.
Our Lakers came from you. No, they did. You know, the LA
they?
Lakers. Oh, yeah, they were Minneapolis Lakers back in the 50s or 40s. Okay, about that season, we all know when winter is. What is it, December 20th through March 19th? But anyway, you mentioned how it's only snowy like that and blizzardy during the winter seasons. What is your winter season?
Really, it doesn't start before Christmas as much as most people think. So usually the big snows don't come until January. And really January, February are definitely the snowiest, worst months. Maybe into March, if we're getting a little bit late. But it gets cold, maybe around Halloween time. But really the snow will start after the first of the year. Define
cold, because this is for a California audience. So cold meaning under 68 degrees.
Yes, unfortunately, we do get a little bit below 68.
All right.
I mean, typically we're around freezing maybe during the winter months, or certainly under. I mean, we can get in the negatives, obviously, but it doesn't stay there like I think a lot of people assume. It's just constantly negative 20 and blizzarding. That's not quite accurate.
So come November, end of October, through April, it's going to be a little chilly.
Yep. Definitely going to be a little bit chilly. Yep.
Between 0 to 50 degrees, 40 degrees, right?
Yeah. Negative 50 to positive 100. It's somewhere in between there.
No, do you have, so is there a big difference between the evening temperature and the daytime temperature?
I don't think during the same day necessarily, but we will fluctuate. One day is 40 degrees, the next day is 10, so from day to day, it'll fluctuate quite a bit. But during the day, it's probably maybe a 30-degree spread from the high to the low.
That's what we've noticed. I was just talking to somebody recently here in California. The evenings, the last few years, the evenings have really cooled off, and it makes it a lot more palatable. These, when we do get the 90-degree temperatures or 100-degree temperatures. Okay, let's go back to Minnesota. Now, you mentioned lakes. Let's go ahead and delve into lakes. Tell us more about your lakes and how that is a benefit for everybody.
Sure. We have them everywhere. They're, probably one of the number one things I'll have. Most of my business is relocation, right? And most of it's coming, a good chunk is from California. And so people will see on the channel, oh, great, I want to be by lakes and trails. It's like, we literally have it everywhere. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to sell the state, but Around the whole Twin Cities are even our watershed boards. They govern retaining all that water, and then they have to make lakes. So sometimes they're man-made, a lot of times they're not. But you've got tons of lakes and trails and things right within your neighborhood, typically. I live a few blocks over from the Mississippi River, so I go on a 7-mile bike ride a few times a day, and we snake down through the kind of the wooded, traily area along the river, and then through some lakes. So outdoor life is really just a staple of Minnesota. It does get cold, obviously. It gets warm, but we pretty much get outside and enjoy it year round for the most part.
Wow, that sounds like a really fun day, frankly. I love cycling and hiking and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So basically someone that's really loves the outdoors would be a hand in a glove in Minnesota. Tell me, Joe, what's the difference, the overall cost of living in Minnesota compared to California? Tell us some numbers.
Generally, the cost of living is definitely less in Minnesota. It's not going to be a surprise to anybody from California how high your guys' is compared to the national averages, of course. But before this call, I was doing a little bit of research for you. Our median income is almost the same. So technically, the individual income is actually a couple thousand higher for Minnesota, and then the household income I think is like $7,000 or $8,000.
There's plenty of jobs there, high-paying jobs.
Yeah, there's a ton of jobs, and we make almost the same amount of money, but all the other expenses are just considerably less.
Right.
Housing expenses, for example, Yorba Linda, the Twin Cities, we're almost a third your average sale price. And so you can get considerably more home in the Twin Cities. We do have a higher tax basis, or just the overall tax burden is a little bit high for Minnesota. It's actually lower than California, I believe, still, but compared to the rest of the metro or rest of the country, we are a little bit high on the overall taxes for income.
And when you
taxes.
say that, because thank you for that lead question, because that's what another thing Californians want to know about property taxes. How do property taxes work in Minnesota?
Property taxes, generally about 1.1% of your home price, is a pretty good estimate. It's something to keep in mind. I'm in the whole Twin Cities region, so it's a fairly large area with numerous different suburbs. So if you're in Minneapolis or St. Paul, their property taxes are considerably higher, 1.25, 1.35, something like that, generally.
All right.
So compared to you guys, that might be low. For our metro, that's pretty high. Some of our cities, you're well under 1%, like 0.8. It really is a city by city basis. And with ours,
okay.
it's probably, I'm assuming, kind of like Orange County, you don't lump one whole area together. It's definitely that way with the Twin Cities.
It's
Minneapolis
generally
would be-
actually around the same in Orange County,
Is it?
Sure. Yeah, it's like 1.08, and then there's add-ons for each city typically. And don't quote me on that, everybody. That's just an approximate number. But anyway, and now let me ask you this: can they go up each year, or if so, is there a limit?
Yeah,
How's that work?
they can go up, and there doesn't seem to be a limit. I don't see them changing the percentage that they're charging terribly often, but of course, with home values going up, when your home value goes up, the percentage is the same, but the overall cost goes up. So typically, I don't see cities a lot raising their percentage that they're charging. And of course, that's the city and the county and all the other zonings rolled into one is roughly the 1.1, 1.2.
Okay.
So it'll, of course, go up with your valuation, but I don't see a lot of cities changing it, especially the bigger ones. If we've got some of the really smaller but suddenly up-and-coming booming areas, they may have to jack up their property taxes to account for all the infrastructure that they're adding, like Lakeville or Otsego, Albertville, but not generally.
How have properties been doing in the last 5 years? For example, in California, we've had tremendous appreciation. Gosh, I don't even have the exact number, but since 5 years, I'm sure we've gone up around at least 30%, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to check that out. But how's Minnesota real estate?
Sure. Well, as far as home price appreciation's gone, I'd have to pull the exact number, but we've probably averaged 5 or 6% the last, say, 5, 6, 7 years or so.
That seems pretty decent.
Yeah, we're a market that really isn't affected by the extremes. So some of the like California, Texas, Florida, New York, you guys really fluctuate really high and lows. We don't really get affected by any of that too much. We're just kind of a constant sort of Midwesterner, hard to offend. We just
rise.
keep going up pretty slow and steady. And we're usually around the averages, typically. So if you see big national news articles that are saying, well, this area is booming, this one's busting, we're always just kind of steadily doing our thing generally.
Okay.
About 5-6% the last few years.
All right. Well, so we mentioned, sorry, not to pick a random detour, but you mentioned lakes and hiking and cycling. What else, though that's a lot, is there to do in Minnesota? Tell us more about.
As far as outdoor things go, we've got everything but mountains and beaches, quite honestly. So canoeing is really big in our area, paddleboarding,
Did you say everything
kayaking.
Except mountains and beaches?
Yeah, we don't have either of those very much. We have some hills up north, and we do have the Lake Superior, so there is some like rocky coastline beach with the Great Lakes. But besides that, tons of cycling, outdoor activities. Pickleball has gotten huge in our area. I don't know if it is where you are.
Yeah.
All the parks have converted to pickleball, and all that kind of thing. So if you can name it, pretty much the outdoor activity is going to exist here.
How's the medical industry? Because oftentimes people who are moving out of California are retiring and they're at the age where they need doctors.
I believe, and don't quote me, but I think most of the stats, if you look up how Minnesota healthcare systems compare overall, I think we're at like number one or number two for the entire country. We've got a ton of large insurance companies that are out of here: United Health, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Medica, different ones. But then we've also got systems like Mayo Health Clinic is down in Rochester, which is obviously one of the biggest national brands. And just there's all kinds of specialty clinics and things. So we're really, really high, both for the services available and for the cost overall with healthcare. I think we're number one in the country, but those numbers always change, obviously.
How about homeowners insurance? Because that's a big deal here in California with all the fires and everything. How's homeowners insurance in Minnesota?
Sure. Well, fortunately, we don't have wildfires in Minnesota, but what we do have actually is hail. And so because of different hailstorms that have happened the last several years, those numbers are definitely going up. I think currently maybe our median price point home, you're sitting at $3,000, $3,200 a year for your homeowners insurance policy. So you sound pleasantly surprised. Obviously, everybody around here is complaining because that used to be $2,000. And so that's for a median price point home. But
what is the median price? So if I want a 4-bedroom, single-story home in your marketplace, I mean, that's a big marketplace. I'm sure you need more information. Do you have newer homes there? A lot of newer homes?
Yeah, we do. So let's talk pricing. So our average price point for the whole Twin Cities is like upper fours, 465, 470. Is our median price point. If you want newer, you can get to that level kind of in the 500 range to get kind of entry level production build new construction. If to your question with new, you can definitely find new construction, but you're just gonna have to look a little bit further out in the suburbs, which I'm sure we'll get to commuting time, but that's only about 30 minutes probably to where you're getting to production build neighborhoods from, say, downtown Minneapolis. So generally something like that. We do some with condos, not a lot in this area as much, but those are probably starting you in the mid twos, upper twos.
Speaking of suburban areas, can you get land there in Minnesota? I'm guessing you get if somebody wants 3 acres.
Oh yeah, yep, you definitely can. Obviously, you just got to go further out to get there. But certainly within maybe a 45-minute drive, you can find acreage properties in Minnesota. And so a lot of times when people are relocating here, if you just give me your criteria of what type of property you're looking for and the budget we're looking in, then we can make recommendations of sort of which side of the metro we'll find it most affordably for what you're looking for.
That makes sense. Oh, now let me ask you this. How much is a gallon of gas right now there in Minnesota?
I'm the worst at tracking that one, to be honest. I think it's in the upper $2. Don't quote
my
me.
Goodness.
It's under 3 for sure. So.
Well, we're like in 6 and change here, I believe, right around $6. Yeah,
you guys are crazy over there.
It's the taxes are just, they got to, don't get me started. Anyway.
Yeah. The cost of living is much, much lower here on basically everything.
How's the food? I mean, we Californians are spoiled. We've got some great like Mexican restaurants. Oh my goodness. Sushi. We've got a lot of great restaurants.
Yeah.
How's Minnesota doing?
Pretty darn good. Quite a few Michelin star restaurants if you're looking for the really upscale. What is nice about the Twin Cities is we've got Minneapolis and St. Paul. They're 2 major metros that are right next to each other. And so because of that, you've got, I'm not double the options, but there's really quite a few options. And then also because there's 2 individual downtowns, and you've got all the suburbs around both of them. I mean, honestly, we've got just about every type of cuisine. I've had people moving here that are looking for Nicaraguan food or like Ethiopian or very specific different types of food. And we've really got it all. Got a great food truck scene, so if that's your thing, lots of food truck festivals.
Mexican food? You don't have?
Yep.
Oh, yes, a good Mexican food. You don't have In-N-Out burgers there, do you?
No, we don't have In-N-Out.
Right.
That's the most overhyped restaurant ever. I'm going to offend all of your California listeners.
Oh no, it's just it is hyped. It's popular. The only reason I bring it up is because it is popular.
Yeah,
but
it is so loved.
Yeah,
no, we have no
but not by you. Okay. Hey,
we had it actually once. We did a big road trip,
yeah.
LA to Denver with the kids this past spring break, and we had In-N-Out for the first time, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, your expectations were a little too high, probably.
That is true.
Michelin restaurant, you said correct?
Yep.
Did you know where that word came from? That's from Michelin tires.
Yeah.
I just heard that. Oh, yeah. Is that a common thing? I don't know.
I did hear that. Yeah.
I was just born last night. So, okay. Well, anyway, you're wearing out your tire to get to the restaurant. That's how it came Michelin. Hey, so about the winters, I mean, so is there a few months out of the year, a few weeks out of the year that you pretty much have to stay inside? I mean, you get snowed in?
Yeah. I mean, there definitely are. It depends how crazy you are. Personally, I'm not necessarily a winter sports person, so I'm not going out. A ton of people do. There's whole
Hmm.
communities that go outdoor running and that type of thing. Everyone thinks that like you're subjected to blizzards continuously. I mean, it's 68 degrees inside my house year round. So certainly, late January, February or something, you're probably not going out as much. If you want to, there's plenty of options. But yeah, I mean, I spend most of the time indoors during that time. The car is the same temperature, the house is the same temperature, every building you're going to is. So maybe I'm not outside, but you can certainly still, you're still going to grocery stores, you're still doing fun things, going to restaurants and all that. So it's not like you're locked inside by any means, but you can certainly escape the winter too.
Let's go to the other extreme. How about summertime? I thought I had
Sure.
heard about Minnesota's summers. It could have been another cold weather state, let's call it. Your summers, do you get up to 100 degrees?
Oh yeah, yep. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
also kind of humid to be aware of. So people don't really expect that necessarily, but with all of the lakes and all the nature and green and everything, it does get humid. We'll pop over 100 a couple times a year maybe.
Okay.
So it's the heat is actually something I think people may underrate a little bit as they're so focused on winter. It definitely gets warm, gets a little steamy.
And do you have four seasons there, pretty much, or just two seasons?
I mean, we don't have enough of the other two that I would like for sure. It's
Right.
lots of winter and lots of summer. Spring and fall are never long enough, but we definitely have all
Okay.
four seasons. And spring and fall become bonfire seasons. That's when we're out in the backyard having a bonfire with the kids and making s'mores, uh,
Oh, cool.
doing all
Hey,
that
and
kind of
then
stuff.
what do you have any critters there? I know, for example, I was talking to somebody in Georgia, and they were talking about, and I asked them that question. They said, "Well, yeah, we actually had an alligator on our lawn the other day." I'm thinking, "Oh my goodness!" So, do you have anything like, how's your mosquitoes or
We're
I
very
don't know?
boring as far as alligators go. None of that. We do honestly have a ton of wildlife around the area. So in mine, I'm in the northern suburbs of the Twin Cities. I've got ducks, for example, that made a little nest in my flower bed. So there's a duck
Oh,
there.
cool.
We'll have squirrels or we'll have rabbits, that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm on the river, so we'll even have deer that kind of walk through our neighborhood sometimes. So there's tons of wildlife. There's not really any pests,
No
really.
nuisances. Yeah, that sounds like
Not really.
yeah,
We don't have snakes because it's too cold. We don't have any crazy spiders. There's none of those things. We don't have termites, as I understand some of
right.
you guys have.
Yeah.
So we don't really have any of the problem things, but there's definitely a lot of wildlife that's everywhere all the time.
Oh,
Turkeys. There
that's.
was turkeys in my road the other day. Um,
Have you ever seen a turkey vulture?
no, I don't
Oh,
think not in
Google that.
person.
I saw that in person, like around 12 of them a few years back, and they're freaky. They look like they're out of like Jurassic Park. They're bizarre. What industries are in Minnesota where you're at? What's the big
Sure.
industries?
So as far as jobs go, we're kind of a sleeper. A lot of people don't realize we've got a ton of Fortune 500 companies in the area. So depending on what type of work you're into, if we're into more of the corporate white collar jobs, lots of big industries of, like I mentioned, we have healthcare. So there's United Health, Blue Cross Blue Shield, if you're into that industries. We've also got like 3M, let me think, Medtronic, Target Corporate's headquarters here, quite a few different medical manufacturing. So we've got like Medtronic, if you're familiar with them, they're a pretty huge employer in our area. And then there's also a lot of manufacturing too. So blue or collar jobs, factory workers and that type of thing. There's quite a bit of that as well. And then we're also seeing a little bit of a tech boom. I mean, we're certainly not like a California by any means, but we've got several different data centers that are getting brought into this area. And so
Yeah, they
you've
need the
got
cold weather, from what I hear.
exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
And so you've got Amazon corporate and some of those that are bringing in more of their headquarter type of offices to support the data centers that are coming around. But certainly, like Target is probably our biggest employer. General
Oh,
Mills, for example, they're all headquartered here. 3M. It's a very diverse market. So, like what I was saying with our housing, we have a really diverse set of job markets. It's not like it's all tech or it's all one industry in particular.
you got the Vikings. Get back into entertainment. You got the
Oh no, let's
Vikings.
not talk about those guys.
Oh, it's funny. I've not been paying attention to
I'm
football,
just
so I'm
kidding.
I'm assuming they're not winning right now.
I'm not a huge sports guy myself, but to be honest, every one of Minnesota's teams seems like they're like really good for a while and then they just tank last minute. So, uh,
Okay. But you got the Twins too. You got baseball.
yep,
You got the Timberwolves, right?
yep.
I'm
Timberwolves is
sure
the
you got
men's
hockey.
basketball.
You got
Yep,
hockey.
Minnesota Wilds, our hockey team. Wild's
Okay, and
huge
then
here.
okay, and then what schools? What do you got as far as universities?
Tons of them. Actually, I just recruited in a college recruiter that I reloaded from Seattle. I think there's something like 20 different colleges within the metro area. So the University of Minnesota is definitely our biggest one. It's a surprisingly huge school. It's got an entire little, we call it Dinky Town. That's the community around the U of M. But there's private schools, there's Christian schools, there's Catholic schools, there's all the different specialties. We've got business schools. There's quite a number of them from basically every different aspect. that you're looking for. Grad
Oh.
schools, we've got an entire area that's got, I think there's 3 or 4 different grad schools kind of within one area.
What would you say are the biggest mistakes Californians make who are moving to Minnesota?
A few of them. The number one thing is probably a lot of people are very nervous about making a jump. Obviously, it's a very different part of the country, different lifestyle, and they're nervous about it. So I will say one of the big ones I see is they automatically get a 1-year lease when they move here. They want to rent for a while, see if they like it, and then they'll decide. And you could definitely do that. What I would suggest instead would be come here for maybe 2 different just touristy type of visits, get you a hotel or an Airbnb or something. Come during the winters, cold months, come during the summer steamy months. And if you like that, you're probably going to be okay. But then if you do move here, I would get something shorter term. Just for example, I've got a guy right now, for example, he's getting a 2-month Airbnb so that he can get to know the areas a little bit better, and then we'll help him buy a home and he can get closed within a pretty short time. Personally, I just wouldn't assume that you're going to want an entire year to live here. If you don't like it in the first few weeks of a summer and a winter month, you're probably not going to live here, and there's no point in having a year-long rental. So you move here, you don't like it, you're also going to want the ability to go somewhere else that you would like better. So keep yourself flexible, I would say, and don't do a long-term rental. That's going to be the main thing. Other people, I'll also say they were here 20 years ago and they've never been back since. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, cold turkey, I'm just selling everything and moving across the country to Minnesota. And I would maybe just slow you down a little bit and say, make sure it's what you want. Make sure it's really the lifestyle. Personally, I love it. I don't think there's any big drawbacks, and I really enjoy the area. Make sure you're going to really attach to it. Confirm you like everything before you go list your house there and start the buying process here. Oh, and then the last thing I was going to say is don't feel like you have to do all the searching for where you're going to live online. So if you're thinking, all right, I want to move to the Minneapolis area, really you're going to have no idea which city, which suburb, which neighborhood is actually going to be a really good fit for you. And so it's something my wife and I love. It's probably the most fun part of our job. You know, we'll sit down for a Zoom call, for example, like this. You tell me all about you, yourself, your lifestyle, your budget, what your family likes to do, how close you want to be to work or to grandma's house, or your commute preferences. And then we can help make really specific recommendations for where we think you're going to like enjoying the best. So do that first before you even come here for your touristy type of visit. Then we can help you know where to look when you get here to sightsee. And then we'll be able to place you a whole lot better. And then when we're in the buying process too, we're going to get you into a few homes that are on the high end of your budget, the low end of your budget, one side of town, the other side of town, older homes, newer homes, so we can really see what your preferences really are when you see them in person. So I just say all that to say, don't feel like as you're thinking about moving across the country, like you have to decide, am I going to like Eden Prairie or Maple Grove better? You know, like take the pressure off, let us as locals do those for you. And typically we'll do all the home searching, all the, you know, white glove placing of where they're going to live. And it works really well. It's really...
That's perfect. And in fact, not only that, we're at the end of our podcast. So that's a perfect transition into tell our audience how to get a hold of you in case they want to get a hold of you. Also, from what I hear, you've got this wonderful YouTube station. Let them know that as well.
Absolutely. So we're Living in MN basically on all of the channels. So you can go to livinginmn.com is our website. We actually just launched it. It's very cool, if I might brag a little bit.
MN like Minnesota.
Correct.
All right.
Yep, livinginmn.com. Don't spell it out. It'll take you to somewhere else. And then also on YouTube, you can just search Living in MN. We'll get you there, or just search my name, Joe Carmack.
Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. And hopefully you can get some business from this, as well as some Californians become a little bit more educated about the great state of Minnesota. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much,
All right.
Darryl. It's great talking to you.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe for more.